The monitor flatlines. A cold, heavy silence fills the room. To the doctors, you are gone a timestamp on a medical chart. But inside your skull, the greatest show on earth is just beginning. What if the end of your life is actually the most hyper-lucid experience you will ever have? For the next 60 seconds, your body will become a battlefield where science meets the supernatural. Your brain is about to fire a final, desperate burst of energy that could make a single minute feel like an entire lifetime. Welcome to your final minute. 0 to 10 seconds. The great silence. The moment your heart stops, the pump that has been working since weeks before you were born finally grinds to a halt. In an instant, the pressure in your arteries vanishes. Your blood, once a rushing river of life, begins to obey the laws of gravity. It starts to sink, pooling in the lowest parts of your body, a process pathologists call livor mortis. But your brain doesn't know it's dead yet. For the first few seconds, you are still there. You might feel a strange sense of weightlessness. The world doesn't fade to black immediately. It's more like a slow, flickering dimming of a theater's lights. Within 10 seconds, the oxygen levels in your brain drop to 0. The neurons, the tiny electrical messengers of your mind, realize the power is out. They begin a frantic, chaotic attempt to stay alive. This is biological zero. You are standing on the edge of a cliff, and the wind has just stopped blowing. 10 to 30 seconds, the last witness. You've heard the stories of people who died on the operating table and came back. They often report hearing things they shouldn't have known, the sound of a falling scalpel, the specific words of a panicked nurse. This is because hearing is the ultimate survivor. While your eyes have failed and your sense of touch has gone numb, the auditory cortex remains active. You are a silent observer in your own tragedy. You hear the frantic rhythm of the CPR compressions, the hollow thud of your own chest being pumped. You hear the whispers of the people you love. You are trapped in a vessel that can no longer respond, yet you are fully aware of the grief surrounding you. But why is the mind still so sharp? Why haven't you just turned off like a light bulb? The answer lies in a shocking discovery made by researchers at the University of Michigan. They found that in the seconds following cardiac arrest, the brain doesn't go quiet, it goes loud. 30 to 45 seconds. The gamma storm. Suddenly, your brain is hit by a massive surge of electrical activity, specifically gamma oscillations. These are the highest frequency brainwaves we have. Normally, you only see this kind of activity during peak human performance. A master musician during a complex solo, a monk in deep transcendental meditation, or a person in the middle of a hyper-vivid dream. In your dying brain, these waves are 30 times higher than they were when you were awake. Your mind is literally working harder than it ever has in its entire life. It is at this exact moment that the life review begins. This isn't just a metaphor. Your hippocampus, the librarian of your memories, is being flooded with electricity. It's like a library on fire, and the librarian is desperately trying to save every book at once. You don't just remember your first day of school or your mother's face, you relive them. You feel the warmth of the sun from a summer afternoon 20 years ago. You smell the rain on the pavement from a forgotten childhood walk. Time is no longer a straight line. It has become a sphere. Because your brain's internal clock is shattering, these 15 seconds of electrical storm might feel like they are lasting for hours. You are experiencing the totality of your existence in the blink of an eye. 45 to 60 seconds, the chemical gateway. As the clock approaches the 1-minute mark, your brain realizes the fight is lost. The panic fades. The desperate struggle for oxygen gives way to something much more mysterious. Your system is flooded with a cocktail of neurochemicals. First come the endorphins, the body's natural morphine. Every pain you've ever felt, every ache in your joints, every sting of the heart, it all vanishes. It is replaced by a profound, heavy sense of peace that is impossible to describe in human language. But there is one more chemical waiting in the dark. Deep within the pineal gland, a tiny organ in the center of your brain, something remarkable is happening. Many scientists believe that in this final minute, your body releases a massive dose of DMT dimethyltryptamine. This is the most powerful psychedelic known to man, often called the spirit molecule. This is the origin of the light at the end of the tunnel. You aren't seeing a physical tunnel. You are experiencing a chemical bridge. Your perception is expanding beyond the physical walls of the hospital room. You feel as though you are being pulled through a vortex of color and sound. The ceiling of the room seems to dissolve, and for the first time, you are no longer a body. You are pure, unburdened consciousness. 1 minute has passed. The doctors have stopped their efforts. The room is still. To the outside world, you are a memory. But inside this minute, you have traveled further than any living human ever could. Wait. If the brain is dead, how can the energy of these thoughts still exist? We are about to cross the threshold into the second minute, where science starts to look a lot like magic. Minute 2. The physical vessel is officially offline. The monitor remains a flat, unbroken line. But the universe operates on a fundamental, unbreakable rule: the first law of thermodynamics. Energy cannot be created, and it cannot be destroyed. It can only change forms. For your entire life, your brain operated on about 20 watts of electrical energy, enough to power a dim light bulb. That energy powered your thoughts, your fears, your love, and your memories. When the body stops functioning, where does that 20 watts of pure, complex energy go? It doesn't just vanish into the ether. Welcome to the quantum realm of death. World-renowned physicist Sir Roger Penrose and anesthesiologist Dr. Stuart Hameroff proposed a theory that has shaken the medical world: orchestrated objective reduction, or Orch-OR. They suggest that consciousness isn't just a biological byproduct of the brain. It is quantum information stored inside microscopic structures in our cells called microtubules. When your heart stops and the blood flow ceases, these microtubules lose their quantum state. But the information inside them, the essence of who you are, isn't destroyed. It leaks out. It dissipates into the universe at large. If the patient is resuscitated, this quantum information rushes back into the brain, and the patient reports a near-death experience. But if the patient crosses the threshold, that quantum soul simply exists outside the body, woven into the fabric of the cosmos itself. This isn't just theoretical math. We have the testimonies of millions. In the minutes and hours following clinical death, across different cultures, different religions, and different languages, people who have been brought back report the exact same sequence of events. First, the detachment. The sensation of floating near the ceiling, looking down at their own lifeless body with absolute indifference. They watch the panic of the doctors. They feel no attachment to the flesh they just left behind. Second, the void. A transition through an immense, infinite darkness. But it isn't a terrifying dark, it is a warm, enveloping blanket. It's the feeling of returning to a place you forgot you knew. Then, the barrier. Many describe a boundary, a river, a fence, or a line of light, and waiting at this boundary are the others. Deceased relatives, friends, or sometimes, entities composed entirely of pure, radiating compassion. They don't speak with words. Communication is instant, telepathic, and absolute. 5 minutes in. While your quantum consciousness is expanding into the universe, back on Earth, the biological cleanup crew arrives. Your cells recognize that the captain has abandoned the ship. A process called apoptosis begins. The cells intentionally rupture, releasing enzymes that start to break the body down from the inside out. The vessel is returning to the Earth, fulfilling the ultimate cycle of biology: dust to dust, carbon to carbon. But you are no longer carbon. As we look closely at what happens 1 minute after we die, we realize that death is not a light switch turning off. It is not a sudden drop into endless black nothingness. It is a highly choreographed, spectacularly complex transition. It is the brain protecting you from pain, flooding you with peace, and opening a chemical gateway. It is the universe reclaiming its energy. Death is not the opposite of life. It is the opposite of birth. Life itself has no opposite. If this journey into the unknown changed how you see your final moment, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We explore the deepest mysteries of human existence every single week. And before you go, I want you to leave a comment down below. Have you, or anyone you know, ever had a near-death experience? What did you see? Your story might be the exact piece of the puzzle someone else needs to hear today. Until next time, keep questioning the impossible.